Hello, everyone. We are back in what I think honestly is my favorite spot. I mean, just look at this. Just look at this. We've got the trees, we've got the lake. You know, I actually came here during my, I think it was my fifth year summer exams. After my exams finished, I actually chilled right here because it's just such a relaxing spot. I'm going to be honest with you. It's like my go to spot. The blue clouds actually turned gray. You can't really see it, but from overhead that way the clouds have to turn gray. And I don't like that because it means it's gonna start raining soon. I don't want rain on me. Now, today we're talking about an ancient practice, okay, that the ancient Israelites did and that people still do today. The, I thought that was a duck. Sorry. The practice of fasting. Now, what is fasting? Fasting is not a hunger strike. Fasting is not cutting out food and cutting out water. Fasting is abstinence from food and water for a period of time to pray. You could fast 2 hours where you don't eat, you don't drink, and you are locked in intense prayer for those 2 hours. That's what fasting is. And fasting is a form of mourning. All throughout the Bible. See, I finished reading First Samuel and Second Samuel, right? And the time that I read that, I would see how David, for example, fasted, right? He didn't eat when Jonathan was killed. He fasted when his son was killed. His son that was trying to overtake the kingdom, right, and kill him. He fasted when his son was killed. Also, the way that his son died was actually crazy. His hair got cut up with a tree, and then the armies of David came and stabbed him with tree spears through the heart. That's what happened. The guy, that is one angry dog. that is that is one angry dog. Jeez. But yeah, that's actually happened. Now, that's just on the side note though. And what after that happened, David fasted, right? Because he was in mourning, because he was sad of what happened. It was a way for him to show his sadness. And so what I say fasting is a form of mourning comes actually from the text Matthew 9:15. Can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken from them, and then they shall fast. Jesus was talking here about the Pharisees because the Pharisees were questioning why him and his disciples do not fast. And he basically said that I am still with them, so there's no need for them to mourn me through fasting, but there will be a time where I will not be here and they will need to mourn me until my return. That's why I said that fasting is a form of mourning, because it quite clearly says, but the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken from them and then they shall fast. The greatest thing about fasting is that it quite literally gives you antennas to hear God clearly. Not only are you showing your mourning to God by abstaining from food and from praying for the fact that you are not fully reunited with Christ yet, because when you fast, you are in mourning that you are not fully reunited with your Lord, with your Savior, with the one that loves you most. You're not fully reunited with Christ in heaven yet, so you fast to God to show the mourning of your soul. And then you pray because you want healing of that mourning. That's what fasting is in its rawest form, right? And I'm saying this because of Matthew 9:15, the text quite clearly says. And so, how do you fast? Well, when I started, when I was like born again, what I would do is I would take an entire day, right? I remember it was a school day, from 9 to 5, 9 to 3 actually, and I'd fast that time, right? When I was in school, not eating, I had breakfast, then 9 to 3 I would fast, and during the day I would find this like small moments, like in between classes, like there was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes in between classes where I could just bow my head and I could just like pray, during those 10, 15 minutes. At the times it's like lunch break, I have like a 45-minute lunch break, so I'll spend this like 45 minutes like praying and all that different stuff. And that's how I did my fasting. Then I'll come home, pray, break my fast with some food, thank God for that food, and then eat it. That's how you fast, basically. You take some time out of your day and you choose, okay, I'm not gonna have any food, I'm not gonna have any water with this amount of time. I recommend that when you start fasting, you build your tolerance to it. Okay, I'm actually working on building my tolerance for fasting too. You should build your tolerance for fasting because recently I tried to hop into a 1 day fast just randomly. Bad idea. Horrible idea. Horrible idea. I was bed stuck. I was actually bedridden. Like I had a headache, couldn't move, couldn't eat, couldn't think, and I was like, yeah, I gotta prepare for this. So prepare for your fast. Cut your food down. Slowly and surely cut out the amount of food that you take, cut out the amount of water you take, and then boom. No food, no water, prayer. And the reason why fasting is such a great form of mourning is because not only are you starving the flesh, but you're also feeding the spirit. You're telling your flesh, no, I'm cutting off what you need the most for 2-3 hours. You could be like to skip lunch. You're saying, no, I'm skipping lunch so I can pray. I'm skipping the sweet snack so I can pray. You can tell your flesh, no, no more. See, for example, I really like slices of cakes, right? So sometimes I'll try and tell myself, no slice of cake today. No slice of cake today, right? I usually have them at like 3 or 4 when I'm watching anime, so I'll be like, okay, no self-cut cake, 3 to 4, 2 hours, no cake, no food, we're going in my room, we're praying. And I feel uncomfortable, all that stuff, but then the comfort of the spirit would come and they'll get really instantly, get really focused and all that stuff, and that's how you fast essentially. So that's what I want to talk about. Second thing I want to talk about is, you cannot fast from social media. That is a punk fast. What do you mean you're fasting from scrolling? You shouldn't be doom scrolling anyways. What do you mean you're fasting from video games? You shouldn't be playing video games all day long anyways. What do you mean you're fasting from laziness? Dude, get up. It's quite literally that simple. Fasting has to be food and has to be water. Anything else is a punk fast. Because what do you mean you're fasting from things that you are not meant to do anyways? But that's what I want to talk about today. You know, pretty beautiful lawn, beautiful lake, you know. If I could swim, I would totally swim in there, but I can't swim. I actually can't swim. I can do a dog paddle at best. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. And I hope that y'all can apply this into your lives so that essentially your life change. Because there's no point of me sitting here and talking for 7-8 minutes if you're not going to take this and put it into your life, right? There's actually no point. You might as well scroll past the video if you're not going to try and take something from the video and apply it into your situation. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And I hope that you all have a blessed day. Where's the button? Right there.